is an update on the egg, and I'm keeping it in my hand now. Like, I'm not holding it like that anymore because I put a light to it, and it's fucking alive. It's crazy looking. It's like there's movement, like the embryo is like sort of floating in this fluid now, and it looks like I can see like two eyes. It's fucking alive. You know, earlier today I went to see what the incubation temperature is, and first came up a chicken, and I was like, it was a little bit off as far as like my body temperature goes, 98.6. It has to be a little bit higher. But then I went to what is the incubation temperature for a pigeon? 98.6 to 101. This would actually work if you kept the egg in your hand the whole time. I fucking couldn't believe it. As soon as like I put it to the light and I saw that there was movement, I was like, holy shit. And Remy's doing most of the work. She sits on it, but she can't sit on it all the time. If you take the egg and put it over a light, check this out. So you can see it. It's alive. You can see the veins and everything. See? It's crazy. It's growing in there. I guess that's, I don't know. That's veins and everything. It's alive. When I have it in my hand, sometimes I can feel it, sort of. I can't explain it. But obviously you can see it's growing in there. It's, you know, I don't want to put it over the light too much because I don't know, maybe photons will screw it up. You know, I don't know. But I remember, this is true, when I was a kid, my family had well, part ownership. I think that I was very young, but in like this chicken farm thing, you know, it was a bunch of sheds. It was like butler buildings filled with chickens. And in one area, they had the eggs, and they would check the eggs with a light to make sure that they were viable, that, you know, that they were going to hatch. So that's why I know you can do this. But you know, I'm not going to take any chances because, you know, I'm an expectant father now. I know what it's like for you people that have children now. I do. I know exactly what it's like because I'm going to be a pigeon dad. It's exactly like having a kid, and don't tell me it's not. If I had some broad pregnant, I'd be just as nervous, I guarantee you. It's in my hand, I'm still flipping out. I'm like, what if something happens, you know? The thing that I'm most freaked out about is when it starts to hatch. I'm just going to let Remy do the deal. The egg that we partially used my hand to incubate with, it's hatching. It's upstairs hatching. Remy's sitting on it. I can't believe this worked, but I'm 98.6 degrees, and that's the low temperature of incubation for a pigeon egg. If it was a chicken egg, this probably wouldn't be happening. Okay, so this is about 12 hours later, and you can see that there's a lot more. That's sort of like a hole into it right there. It gets real dark. It's hatching. It's crazy. So we're like 12 hours into it, something like that. Something like that, and it's, you know, from what I understand, it could take, you know, 35 hours. Something like that. I don't know. I guess there's slow progress. That's what it is. I need to stay out of it. Remy's got this. She does. So that's about 24 hours. 24 hours since I first saw peck marks on the egg, on the shell. So now there's a hole, and it looks like it's trying to make the hole bigger. I'm pretty exhausted, not as exhausted as the little bird in the egg. Now, from what I understand is from the time that you see the hole, the pronounced hole like that, it's about 10 hours. You can see real pronounced hole, right? So it's working its way, making the hole bigger. This is after about 24 hours, okay? This is 24 hours. Still not out, you know, something, you know, still might not make it. But looks like it's hatching. The egg is hatched and the baby is alive. Remy lifted up and showed me and then sat back down. It's alive. It's a fucking baby bird. You know, it was moving. It's moving. I didn't want to take a picture because I didn't want to bother Remy. I don't want to bother the bird. It's not that important that I get a video of this. You know, I can't believe that this worked. I would have never tried this except, you know, Chip laid this egg like on a metal surface and I knew, you know, she couldn't have built a nest there. This is Casper and Chip. Okay, Chip's the smaller bird. Casper's in the front. Chip's the pigeon that's very young and sort of a bad mommy. Okay, so these are the two birds. Chip is the small one that laid the egg. I couldn't be happier about how well Solar's doing. Solar was hatched using my hand. My pigeon also, you know, incubated the egg too, but when my pigeon needed to take a break since she doesn't have a mate, I did hold the egg, keeping it warm. The longest that I held the egg was probably 3 or 4 hours. Usually it was about a half an hour, 45 minutes. And, you know, because human body temperature is 98.6, and that is the lower incubation temperature for a pigeon egg. So Solar is doing awesome. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier for Remy. She's wanted to have a baby. She's been sitting on non-fertile eggs for so long. And there's Solar. Solar's doing it. Solar wants to live. Now you can see the size difference. He's 4 or 5 times bigger already. He or she is much bigger. Lots bigger. He's growing. You can see he has better control over keeping his head up. When he was first born, you know, he couldn't even keep his head. You know, he'd just be sprawled out. Now Solar, this is like the 13th day, so Solar should start walking better, you know, sort of standing up a little bit more. She does stand up, he, she, we don't know what she is. Solar's freaking awesome. You're jealous, I know you all are, those screaming brats. I'm a pigeon dad. My baby's gonna fucking fly. Your fucking screaming brat will never fly. Never. And that kid might grow up and hate you. Solar's never gonna hate me and Remy. And I don't have to come up with money for college. You people and your children. You're jealous. You can't have this pigeon. It's not your pigeon. I wouldn't sell it for $1 million. Solar, that's my pigeon baby. And Remy's baby. Not for $1 million. That's Solar. That's my pigeon baby. That's right. And the thing that I've noticed about Solar is that she sort of looks like a quail. And the thing that I noticed about Solar is that if you look at her head, she looks like a quail. She does. She's got a quail face or something. It's the quail bird. Check it out. It's Remy and her baby, and my baby too. That's Solar. That's Optimus right there, and that's Solar. And they've hooked up. They're a couple. Now, that's good and bad, and it's bad because they are also related. They're brother and sister. Not from the same nest. Absolutely not. Solar, me and Remy hatched, right? That's my kid. You say it's not your kid. Oh, yes, it is. I held the egg in my hand, keeping it warm. It's as much my kid as it is Remy's kid. Okay? But biologically, Solar has the same... Remy just flew up to my shoulder. Solar has the same parents biologically as Optimus there. Now, Optimus is beautiful. So, you can't blame Solar. I mean, his sister's fucking hot. I already caught him having sex. What am I going to do? You know? Solar is a boy. We found that out. Solar is not a girl. Solar's a boy. I thought he was too aggressive to be a girl. You know, he's fearless. He's a little fearless bird. And he's totally into his sister. That's Solar. That's my kid, Solar. And he's taking care of the egg right now, which isn't really an egg. It's a piece of expandable styrofoam I threw under him or Chip, because we don't want that, you know, they don't really sort of know the difference. The older birds catch on that it's not a real egg, but we don't want them having babies because Solar has sex with his sister. Don't you, Solar? See? Solar's admitting it. His sister, Optimus, his wife, is a very pretty bird. And it's the only female bird in town other than, you know, his biological mother, Chip, or Remy, who's, you know, Remy loves me, don't you, Remy? There's Rem. But, and that Remy is also Solar's mother. She hatched the egg. She sat on the egg a lot more than oh my God, I just realized. Solar's a lot like me. He's a slacker. He will sit on the, he's been, not sitting on the egg very often. Optimus sits on it about, oh, I don't know. Solar will sit on it for about 7 hours, right? Now, the most I ever held Solar in when he was in an egg was 5 hours. So, see, Solar is a lot like me. Aren't you, Solar? He is. He's a slacker. He's a deadbeat dad, and I'd probably be a deadbeat dad, too. I'd be fucking out of there, right? So, Solar just does the minimum amount so that his old lady / sister will keep having sex with him. Isn't that right, Solar? Look at my boy. You're a good boy, Solar. He's a bad boy, though. What does he do when he's fucking around, not sitting on the egg? He's hanging around with me, Remy, Ike, you know. It is not a 50-50 split when it comes to Solar and Optimus. Chip and Casper, totally a 50-50 split. Like, Casper will go sit on the egg right at 11 a.m. Or 11, yeah, something like that. 10, I think they switch. 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, and then the other one takes over almost to the minute. Not Solar. Solar, you know, I'll bring him in here and say, Solar, you're supposed to relieve Optimus, and he just flies off hanging around with Remy or Ike or something. You're a slacker, dude. Here, you want to see what I'm using to I'll show you what we're using for an egg. That isn't an egg. That's it. Here, take it back. Solar's pissed off. Solar wants to beat up his dad. Solar, you're awesome, brother. I mean, son. He is. He's pretty awesome. Love the guy. Guess it could be worse. He could say, well, I'm not sitting on the egg at all. You're a good boy, Solar. They like this. This is just like this old, like, I don't know, shelving unit in this old pantry, and I throw a bunch of clothes in here. That's where they've been making a nest. Solarton. And there's Remy. Remy's freaking awesome. Look at Rem. You're a good bird, Remy. Look at Remy. She's so adorable.